covering all things professional wrestling. A show by members of the Busted Open Nation. Welcome to the Nation's Corner. Here are your hosts, the Nation's Corner crew.
Good evening, Nation's Corner, friends, family, and fans. John in South Jersey. Welcome to yet another edition of the Nation's Corner. And as you can see, we have a full house in the house tonight of my usual cast of unusual characters, starting off in the box below me. From all the way in Monrovia via the LIE, or even the Orient Ferry, depending on which part of the country you're coming from. But he is the one, the only Mongrovian Mike. What's up, brother?
What's up?
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a special one-night only appearance. No, she is not just one half of the hottest intergender tag team wrestling going today. Not only is she the social media maven of the Nation's Corner, but tonight, for one night only, she is not Debhausen. No. She is Darby Allin, as you can tell by that amazing face paint that she does. She is the great and powerful Debhausen. What's up, Deb?
What's up? Yes, I decided special occasion. I will do this one time only. Last time I did this was in 2021 when we went to Dynamite after COVID in Philly. So we will get into Darby and AEW later. But yes, I think it turned out pretty good.
And technically, you're 2 for 2 because you made it on TV last time with your Darby Allin makeup, and you're sort of on TV now. It's being broadcast, so
people could go back. What was the date? What date was it? They could go back and watch if they have the my AEW.
I believe it was October 2021.
That sounds about right.
Here we go.
Steven probably knows the exact date.
Everybody
I'm sure
can
somebody
go back
will tell us.
into the history of AEW. Find the Philly show in October 2021. You can see me in the crowd.
I'm quite sure our crack research team is already on it. But last and not least, and the guy we're going to open up with tonight, ladies and gentlemen, he is the world's greatest truck driver. And wherever justice may roam is where you will find him. Of course, I'm talking about my brother, Tony Justice. What's up?
What's going on, y'all? It's been a while. I have been running my butt off. I tell you what.
Well, I wanted to open the show with, speaking of running your butt off, you swerved us. You bastard.
I did.
Somebody decided to show up in Vegas last week for Mania weekend after a few of us also in the crew were already out there and enjoying all the festivities and enjoying each other's company. But somebody decided to slide into the slide door last minute. So tell us, my brother, what was Vegas like for the second round?
Okay, so speaking from a man who has never been to Vegas for fun. All I've ever done is drive through Vegas, going to Utah or going to California on 15. I never got to stop and actually smell the roses in Vegas. And Lord, I actually got to experience Vegas. Neil and Money Mark and Scotty was there. Trenda was there. I met Kelvin from Arlington for the first time. And me and him both live in the same state, and that's the first time I'm meeting him. Go figure. And the next,
Marks.
So, Marks was there too. And I had to let Marks know, okay, so how it all came together. I was thinking about going, for months. I was just going to get a load and go through Vegas with it. But then the closer it got to WrestleMania, and it was just, I didn't think I could make it happen, so I just decided not to do it, because it takes a lot for a truck driver to plan that far in advance to go and do something like that. But a few days before WrestleMania, I got empty in Kansas City, and my dispatcher goes, "Hey, well, I got this load going to Vegas, but it doesn't load until tomorrow." And I'm like, "Okay, and it paid pretty good." And so I'm thinking in my head, my wheels start turning. I'm like, "All right, I can make this happen." I don't know
That's what that
is.
smell was.
I don't know what the heck is going on.
What?
Oh, this is riveting.
Yeah, it's a flashback. It's a flashback. Anyway, so I drove my ass off to get to Vegas on Saturday. If I'd been able to get loaded the day I got empty in Kansas City, I would have made it on Friday to Vegas, and I'd have been able to go to the Busted Open Party and the Rooftop Rocker and all that stuff, which is what I really wanted to do. But I made it on Saturday. I told Marks and I told Scotty. And the only reason I told Scotty is because I knew that Scotty was there. He got there on Friday, but he was only staying one night. So he wasn't going to be there when I got there anyway. So I said, well, I'm going to let him know so that, I wish that I could see him, But he wound up saying, well, did you get a room yet? And I said, no, I'm going to get one when I get there. And he says, don't worry about it. You could stay in mine when I was going to check out today. I'm staying at the Park MGM, so you can just take over for me. And I'm like, are you serious? He said, yeah, So I got to the truck stop. I used Marks to tell me where everybody was so I would know where to Uber to. I Ubered to the hotel. The rest of the peeps was at Circa Hotel. And so Marks came down into the lobby to get me. Of course, big hug, always good seeing Marks. And we both go up the elevator to the hotel room. And mind you, nobody knew I was coming. So he walks in the room. Actually, Neil opened the door for him, but didn't stay at the door. He opened the door and just kind of walked back to the window because everybody was watching at the window, watching WrestleMania Night 1 out the window because we were 38 stories or somewhat up in Circa, right there over Stadium Swim. And so we're watching the monitors. They had the audio Bluetoothed in on a speaker. That's so cool. No one had any idea I was there. I just walked up and I'm kind of just standing there. Neil was over here and was on his phone, and I just stood there. Didn't say nothing. And he looks up at me, and the look on his face was priceless. He hugged the crap out of me. He's like, "Damn it!" Because I got him before in Atlanta. So this is surprising. Neil is nothing new that I've done before. So, So Money Mark still didn't have any idea I was there. So he turns around and the look on his face, and of course, if you've ever met Money Mark in person, he hugs so tight he pops your back when he hugs you. And I mean, the dude, everybody was so happy and Kelvin sitting there, and I met Kelvin, and it was just a blast. And after night 1, we went and walked Fremont Street. I got to experience that for the first time.
Yeah, I bet that didn't smell like roses.
So on Sunday, of course, me and Marks went to WrestleCon and got to walk around WrestleCon and stuff, seeing a lot of people. Then that afternoon we went back and we actually went to Stadium Swim for night 2. And I was the most overdressed person at Stadium Swim because everybody's walking around in their bathing suits and stuff and shorts and all that. And here I am wearing my blue jeans, t-shirt, my cap, and boots at a swim club. But anyway, the place is amazing. It's just like a hotel pool. If no one's ever been to Stadium Swim, it's a hotel pool on steroids. It's got, the cabanas. It's got beautiful women walking around as your waitresses, tons of people there. You got like 6 screens on, I think it's 6 screens. It's just an amazing time. And so after night 2, we went back and walked Fremont again. And then, of course, the time we all dread, there's a time to say goodbye. And, of course, we get back to the room, and I'm getting my stuff up, and I Ubered back to the hotel. And, of course, saying goodbye to the crew is never easy, no matter who it is. But I wound up going back to the hotel room, and then I wound up actually just Ubering to the truck that night too, because I had to get up Monday morning and deliver in Vegas. So it just, the stars aligned for that to happen. And
Yes.
and Neil gave me an awesome gift that I'll never forget, because they got to go to the Rooftop Rocker, and of course they each got a bottle of Jack with Bully's label on it and everything. And Neil actually gave me his bottle, so I have it. I have it out there. So again, Neil, I appreciate you, brother. I love you, man. And
Thanks.
I had so much fun with y'all, man. And it's been too long since I've been able to get with any facet of the crew. The last time was WrestleMania 40 in Philly, and then of course I've seen Deb.
There was that day that we were just able to meet up, for lunch around here. That was nice.
Yeah, and that was just me doing my normal job, and Deb lives where I was getting loaded at. She lived not too far away, so she met me out there, and I was getting loaded, and we actually went and ate. So it was cool to get to spend some time together there. But I mean, but the last time that we've actually gotten to be together in a group was WrestleMania 40. Yeah. So it's 2021 was the year when we first started getting together as a crew. I mean, we were Zooming and stuff in 2020 and all that, but actually getting together in person, 2021 was the first. In May of 21, to be exact, in Buda. And then 2021 for me, that was a big year for me, being able to go to all these conventions we were getting to meet up at together. So we got a lot of time as a group in 2021 to actually hang out. But then, they stopped doing the conventions in Baltimore, and that was an easy thing for us all to get together to go to. Yes. And now it's like it's scattered now. So you really have to work hard if we want to see each other. We really got to work hard and go, all right, because I don't live on the East Coast like y'all used do. All of y'all are gonna get to be together next weekend. So
what do you mean use?
So
yeah, I think it's just tough because I think everybody feels it, that travel got way more expensive. And so, for so many of us, if it's not somewhere that, is with reasonable driving distance, it's just not feasible on the regular. There are times when, like, the WrestleMania trips that those who can go, save up for a long time to be able to make that trip.
Right.
And a bunch of us are going to be going on the Jericho cruise in November. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. Yeah. So yeah, it does suck that we can't get together as a larger group more often because of travel issues, but whenever we can, it's so fun. Even if it's just me and John meeting up at an indie show in Philly or whatever. Like it's fun whenever any of us can get together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right. Why don't we then just give a quick wrap up to Mania itself? Mike, biggest highlight for you from WrestleMania? Both night, doesn't matter. Either night, best thing you saw, but just from WrestleMania, not anything else.
Yeah, match wise would be Oba Femi Brock and.
Damn it, steal my thunder.
And I gotta say though that CM Punk and Roman Reigns, they freaking delivered. But did we ever doubt that they were gonna deliver? You know what I mean? It's a good story. It goes all the way back to the Shield. It goes, it was a story you could stick your teeth in, and nobody else was added to it. Nobody butted in. And it was a perfectly told story. But also, you can't, Danhausen is just killing it.
But
just have him drive the
But that authority, Jonathan Coachman doesn't get it. So it can't work.
Well, we don't get him, so
he's a fucking idiot. All right. Deb.
Cool.
Deb, one minute from you from Mania.
For me personally, it was Demon Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. At first, for a while, Cody and Randy was really the biggest thing I was looking forward to, but then the excitement for that kind of went. So it was Dom and Finn. That was really what I was watching to see.
I know it's not, especially when Finn does the whole demon thing and the entrance and everything. We've seen it before, but man, on that stage, in that, on that thing, and we haven't seen it for a while. And it was definitely absence makes the heart grow fonder, because you're right.
It was a little better than it was a WrestleMania moment that they gave him.
Yes.
He definitely had a WrestleMania entrance.
Mm-hmm.
It was
awesome.
wild.
It was.
And I just want to just hop back to just the Cody Rhodes match, though. Once you were in the meat of the match and McAfee was gone, what was so awesome. And Cody did, that the punt he took, once again, Cody Rhodes goes above and beyond with his body and what he does in the story he tells. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he's always done this. He's always done this in AEW, and he's just always did what he had to do.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I think if we all heard what Bully said on was that Monday, and I do agree with him that I think the whole and it was the case the whole time with the Pat McAfee involvement, that it just kind of killed the investment, the emotional investment in the story that was happening, because we really didn't get to see them tell the story to the fullest the way they could have, because the story got taken over by just talking about ticket sales. So yeah, it's unfortunate, because that was something that so many fans have been clamoring for years, and the payoff, I feel personally, the payoff just didn't hit. And I don't know. It is what it is. It just, what are you gonna do?
All right. Yeah.
In spite of everything, I'm still gonna get a jelly roll LJN figure.
All right. Tony, you were live and in person, sort of. Best moment for you out of Mania.
The biggest. I would say I would have to agree with Mongrovian. Oba and Brock, that was an amazing match, and the moment after the match was shocking. It had everybody's. I was looking around at everybody there at the Stadium Swim, and everybody was just like shocked. And it was definitely an emotional moment. And then of course, Punk and Roman delivered.
Yeah.
It delivered. It was all worth the hype that it led up to it. It delivered.
Let me ask you something, Tony. Do you think like Oba's entrance at that, you think that do you think in the future it's going to be, people are going to be saying like we say the Road Warrior pop or the Stone Cold Steve Austin pop, the Oba pop is getting to be pretty real for me?
Well, I think it's going to take some time for that kind of pop to replace a Road Warrior pop or Stone Cold pop.
Yeah, agreed.
But saying that, Oba's getting over, or is over, the fastest that I've ever seen anybody get over in a long time. He has definitely got the people behind him. I love during his entrance when they show everybody doing the strut in the crowd. I love it. It is Oba's taken over. And
you know what? When you gotta adapt to my accent when you say Oba's over.
Over. OVAH. Over.
That could be a shirt.
Yes.
I'm surprised you don't call him Ober. Femi.
Ober's over.
Yeah.
But
you listen to some of the callers on, especially off the ropes, it's Obi Femi.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Real name, no gimmicks.
Man.
My WrestleMania moment, you guys, Tony and Elder, absolutely. The Oba Brock match was the match I was waiting for as soon as it was announced. It was the only match I really was very interested in seeing. And also the end with Brock taking off the boots and gloves and leaving a lot of questions. I personally think Brock is done. I know they have SummerSlam coming up in Minnesota, and the people, Cena retired, and y'all called in every day saying, "Oh, we got to get Cena back this way," and you're doing the same thing with Brock. Listen, like I said in Zoom the other night, the man lives in the middle of fucking nowhere in Saskatchewan, Canada. He went home and said, "Come find me."
He's hunting elk, some moose. He's
just chilling at home. All right, real quick before we get real bogged down, best non-Mania event or moment.
Well, I think we all know the answer to that.
There's two.
Well, we know yours, Deb, obviously, and we'll get to that. But I'm thinking more of what other events that happened in Vegas. Because once again, GCW absolutely killed it with the collective. God damn, there was so much with that going on, and just so many great shows. If you don't have Trailer Plus, people, you're wrong, and you need to fix that, and you need to go back and watch any of the shows from the collective. But that's more what I meant. We'll get to your other favorite in a moment, but for right now, other event in Vegas. Not WrestleMania. Deb, you first.
For me, it was pretty much hands down Joey Janela and Brody Lee Jr. Twofold, but I'll talk about Joey Janela first. Joey Janela and Brody Lee Jr. was I feel like something that will go down in history. Years from now, we are going to look back at that match as the beginning of something special. I really, truly believe that. And it was just like you watch that match, and yes, obviously, like he looks like he's a 14-year-old kid, but he does not wrestle like he's a 14-year-old kid. And it was incredible. It was incredible to see the outpouring of so many people across the industry giving praise, and people that were there in the audience that just, rushed over from some other show just to get there to watch that. That was so awesome. And the other thing was Sandman's last match against Invisible Man. That was a freaking master's class. I'm telling you.
So fun.
If you didn't see it, you have to find a way to watch it. It was a master's class.
Absolutely amazing. All right, Elder.
I'm gonna say you should have asked, was there any matches besides Brody Lee Jr. and Sandman in his last match against the Invisible Man? Because I totally agree with Deb right there. Those were my two matches. I still have, yes, there's still other matches though. I have to finish a lot of stuff on the collective. But as soon as I saw those two matches, that I knew that those were going to be my matches. And yeah, Brody Lee Jr. Just that he's what is he, 14? You said
14. Yes, he's 14.
So he's 14. So just imagine when he's 21, he's going to be a lanky big dude like Javon Evans, who's very deceiving. He's very deceiving because he's so lanky and he looks like a string bean, but he's big, and that's what's going to happen to Brody Lee Jr. And then he's going to grow into that body, but you could tell he's got his dad's body, so he's going to be a big boy. Let's say he's in that percentile. I'm sure his mom was told, just like my grandson's mom was told. My daughter was told. The son is in the tall percentile. They do all this stuff now, and you could tell Brody Lee Jr. is going to be a big dude. And Sandman, that just everybody that came running in.
Mick Foley took a bump.
The whole ref spot. Mick Foley doing his whole comeback routine, like into the corner and the double arm fucking DDT.
Yes,
it was amazing.
It was so good. And then taking a bump and the ref that took the pile driver the ref that took the choke slam. I mean, all those refs, the ref schmas running in and getting taken out by either Kane or Invisible Hand.
And then the person, I can't remember who it was, but the one that gave himself a Canadian destroyer. Like, how do you even? Do that?
That was the one. That was the one. I was saying pile driver, a Canadian destroyer. That you're right. You're right. And you know what, Deb? I know you guys all agree. Hey, if wrestling isn't real, explain that fucking match to me, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Explain
exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Sandman tried to run him over with his car. Didn't you all see the promo?
Brody Lee Jr. and God bless Amanda.
Yeah.
And
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to point out the comment from Billy earlier. Amazing Red, Mascar, Dorado, and Mystico defeated the Rascals. I really, really wanted to see some of that Palm Slamfest shows, but I didn't get a chance to because they were pay-per-view and I just wasn't able to get the pay-per-view. So, maybe at some point I'll go back and get them and watch, because the card of especially the Maple Leaf show just looked just incredible. So I do want to go back at some point and watch that.
There's so much, and shout out to Gabby Forza too, and for being on Busted Open and After Dark first, like a week or so ago, and then on Busted Open Radio today with the world's strongest man Mark Henry and
oh yes, Denise, Gabby Forza has a new best friend in the world's strongest man.
She wrestled 3 times in one day. Like she impressed Mark, and we knew that. We knew that. Like,
she said she was married to Bear, and he was like, no shit.
We knew that.
And she said she trained a creative pro, and he goes, "Say less."
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that Busted Open is smartened up to Gabby Forza. It was, like a year, like a little over a couple of years ago. I'm calling Dave on Busted Open saying you got to check out our homie the Nomi. And he's like, oh, yeah, I got to check that out. And now a couple of years later, we see her getting called by Busted Open, which is, we're so happy for her and Bear and going to Japan and the GCW stuff and whatever.
Tony, did you get to see anything else besides? I know you were a little hectic on travel, but did you get to see anything else?
No, I did not, but I do have a moment of the weekend.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to put Marks over here. So, going to WrestleCon with Marks on Sunday. Walking in there with him, and as shy as that boy is, to go to almost every single wrestling talent that was there, complete with his Nation's Corner crew shirt on, walking there and shaking everyone's hand and telling them how much he respects what they've done for the business. And some of the people there recognizing the shirt, and him just doing what he's doing. I was standing back and I was watching him that whole day. And I realized how much work it takes to promote yourself. Whatever brand you are, it takes a lot of work to promote yourself. And Marks was doing it with ease that day. And I stood back and just watched him. And I was so proud. And brother, you make all of us proud, Marks. You being you, man, and you going to everybody and just talking to everybody, and you lit up when you were talking to them, and they were lighting up while they were talking to you. So, dude, I'm proud of you, man. I just want to say thanks.
Cheers to Marks.
Cheers to Marks.
You're the shadow of the Nation's Corner, but we love you.
Yeah.
Except for when you're on Zoom and you go, oh my God, you got to see what just happened. And then you disappear and never come back.
He never finishes the story.
Do that shit to us on Zoom.
Never finishes the story ever. Bastard.
Marks comes on Zoom and goes, well, that was an interesting turn of events. And then just
and we're all like,
what happened? And then we don't even know. But we do love every 4th. We do love every 4th of July where him and his family, they blow each other up with Roman candles and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Mine from. Actually, I have 3, and I'll be quick with them. One, the Mike Bailey Holy shit, did she work a lot? Award goes to my girl right here on my shirt, Shotzi Blackheart. 9 matches for the collective.
Yeah.
9 wrestling appearances, not counting. It was something like a total of like 20 appearances that young lady made. She absolutely was the workhorse. She was on everything. And God bless her. And I hope she got a ton of money and sold a ton of merch and everything else because that girl worked her.
Hope she filled that fanny pack.
Yes, absolutely. My second was and it's kind of a cop out, but I don't care. If you have not watched and seen the Immortal Clusterfuck, the match itself, all possibly 8 hours of it, although it wasn't that long this year, you are
It was maybe about 4 hours, something like that.
You are absolutely missing out. If you were like, oh, this sucks, the Immortal Clusterfuck is everything that is fun and entertaining and just laugh out loud shit of wrestling.
I gotta see that. That's one of the ones that I'm going back to watch. And
and of course, I have one bummer that I'll get to in a second, but my last one is the Bulldozer fulfilled his promise. He told Otis Cogar, I'm coming to get my fucking belt. And at the Immortal Clusterfuck, he did just that. Inside a steel cage full of fuckery, your new GCW Ultraviolent Champion, once again, the Bulldozer, Matt fucking Tremont.
Yeah.
The bummer out of it all was, guys, we don't have Bloodsport anymore in the foreseeable future. If you didn't see, there was a very kind of touching promo and speech from the organizer, Josh Barnett, at the end of it, saying that he was going to put the thing away for a while and go on hiatus and may not see it again, which is a crime because besides being just a completely different wrestling show, the people you would see on that show were ones that you didn't see outside. You had actual contracted WWE talent that worked nowhere else. I mean,
we actually saw
else.
Natty versus Shayna,
right,
in a really hard hitting match.
That I wanted to see him run back again in a Bloodsport ring, but we don't know if they're going to see that, and that's kind of sad. That's kind of a bummer to me. And you know, everything else that was so great that weekend, that was something that stuck to me. Like, wow, if this is really it, and I get it, Josh is getting older, and you know, I'm hoping that maybe he doesn't necessarily have to compete, but I hope he still keeps it around because it was such a unique card and unique venue to showcase talent in wrestling that you wouldn't normally see matches that normally wouldn't see.
And I apologize because I mentioned two pretty much, you could say, gimmick matches, but I messed up and didn't mention that Natty Shayna Baszler match, which was
it was good.
Wow. I mean, I mean, just Shayna and Natty just going at each other, and after the match is over, still going. Such a good friggin' match, John.
Yes, it was. All right, well, that was our Vegas wrap up. So let's make Deb really smile now and talk about the other news that happened in wrestling this past week.
The champ.
We have a new champion in AEW. Who looks remarkably like the young lady down to my right in that corner box. Darby
she looks
Allin.
better.
Yeah, I will say that. Darby Allin is your new AEW heavyweight champion. Took advantage of a beat up MJF, who was not really
Yeah, so I'm gonna jump in. I think they told the story really well, for those, that are really paying attention to what's happening. I think, and Darby's been kind of, since he came back from Everest, he's been kind of, gaining steam. Like he's been beating everyone that he gets his hands on.
Dealing with the Death Riders first.
Yeah, he went through the Death Riders first.
Dealing with the
so that
dogs.
was kind of, I feel like that kind of put an end to the Darby versus the Death Riders storyline, and the Death Riders have moved on to something else.
The dogs.
Yes, so he went through all of that. Became the number one contender. Meanwhile, MJF, MJF had an incredible match against Kenny Omega on Dynasty. Then after the match, MJF's beat up, he's exhausted. He says he's going off the grid to celebrate his win. Because of that, he doesn't know that Darby cut a promo at the end of the show, challenging him for the title on Wednesday. MJF shows up on Wednesday not knowing that he has a match announced, because he went dark. He went off the grid.
He went off the grid.
Yeah. So he's caught by surprise at the beginning of Dynamite, being told that there is a match against Darby Allin, and he has to defend the title. He's 3 days removed from an almost 45-minute long match against Kenny Omega, so he's not fully recovered yet. He's not prepared, and Darby took advantage of that. MJF attempted to cheat, and Darby turned that around and cheated in taking advantage of MJF trying to cheat. And it was just kind of yes, it caught a lot of people by surprise, but we were even talking on Zoom beforehand that I felt it was going to happen. They released the interview with Renee earlier on Tuesday. That was a really great interview. And just based on that, based on all of the content they were putting out on social media, based on the video package and the promo that they started off Dynamite with, I was like, I think Darby's going to win this. And sure enough, yeah, it happened. And it did catch a lot of people by surprise. But again, if you're paying attention to all the details, this did not come out of nowhere. They told a story.
Yeah. I was very surprised. I honestly thought, even though up until the bell rang with the two of them in the ring, I honestly thought MJF was going to find some way to weasel out of this or prolong it. Not saying that they were not going to have a match, but they were going to find some way to weasel this out and draw it out a little longer. And the fact that Darby won basically off a squash match. If you think about it, the match itself was maybe 5-7 minutes,
something like that. I don't know.
It was very, very quick, very,
But that's also the point of the story they were telling, is that MJF was unprepared,
right,
and not at 100%.
But it was quick, but not. We're used to AEW rushing through things, rushing through stories, rushing through matches. Like I said, it was very a frantic pace, but not rushed. Like they were trying to get to the finish because they only had a certain amount of time. It just was the pace of the match. And, four coffin drops later, and, Darby's wearing a belt.
Yeah. And so real quick, for me personally, as, the Darby fan, when AEW first started, he was one of the first ones that I was like, I like this guy. and just, him being like an Evel Knievel style, stunt thrill seeker, friends with Travis Pastrana and Tony Hawk. In fact, going back to 2020, literally the first thing that Tony and I talked about was I had shared a video on Twitter. I had retweeted a video of Darby jumping into a pool of like foam cubes. And literally the first time that me and Tony spoke to each other was him asking me like about that and saying like, oh man, that guy's nuts. And you know, that sparked this, you know, the friendship that we have. So yeah, I mean, for me personally, you know, this is something that's 7 years in the making. We thought it would happen a couple times before, and just the timing wasn't right. And I think finally the timing came together, and the story came together at the perfect moment. And I know that night when we were on Zoom, like as soon as it happened, I logged off Zoom, and it was just because like this is something that means so much to me. At that moment, I was like, I really don't give a shit what anybody has to say about it. Like I don't want to hear anybody else's opinions. I don't give a shit. Just let me enjoy this moment for myself. And so yeah, it really means a lot to me. And just seeing the reaction from a lot of people who, you know, may have been skeptical, but upon seeing how it was playing out are kind of like, oh my God, you know, this is really good. Like I kind of really love this. It's just been awesome.
Yeah. No, it was,
cheers to the new champ.
Yeah. It was obviously very unexpected, and we're all kind of guilty of it. We have been looking, especially lately with AEW. It's been a very crowded, especially men's world championship picture with a lot of people involved in it. Darby being one, but maybe not as prominent as some of the other names involved. And you know, we were also looking at, well, who's going to take on MJF and take the title from him? Or is anyone? But everything was centered around MJF, and now here they come and do this. Now it's almost like you got to hit the reset button and start thinking very differently, because AEW, and to their credit, you know, you never know what's going to happen. You can, I mean, you can predict, you can, you know, fantasy book and speculate, but they proved in that, you know, in that short 10 minutes of that final segment of Dynamite that anything can happen at any time. And good for them for doing it, because, you know, it's something like that, you know, granted, I saw what the internet had to say, and my general comment is GFY.
Yeah.
All right, sure. Were they trying to grab something because it's Mania week, and that, maybe, but
whatever. It's still hard to pull the trigger. You know,
absolutely.
You still got to think, should I pull the trigger? Because you know MJF is money. No matter how popular Darby is, you don't know. But they built it up so well, and they did go back and show you him playing.
Even in this short time already, man, the fans,
you know,
the AEW fans are all in. Pardon the pun.
Yeah, I mean, just look at his promo when he came out this week on Dynamite. When he came out to the ring and he set the belt in the middle of the ring, and the fans gave him a standing ovation and chanted, "You deserve it."
Yeah.
And the feeling, like, I can't even, this is what wrestling is supposed to feel like.
Excellent.
Yeah.
This is the emotions that wrestling is supposed to feel like. And the match that he had with Ciampa on Wednesday, like, everybody across the industry is praising that match, saying how amazing it was, and the emotions that you like. This is what it's supposed to feel like.
Very true. Absolutely, very true. This is what it is, and we should have this feeling no matter what wrestling we're watching or who it is, but we should have that feeling. And lately, for various reasons and various, you know, justifications, we don't. So when we get something like that, it's okay to enjoy wrestling, people. It's okay just to sit there and be entertained. You don't have to be so analytical and say, "Oh, well, they did." Don't put any politics into it. Just fucking enjoy it. And that's what this is right now. And I hope it continues, because, you know, besides everything with Darby, you have a new TNT champion in the Jet, Kevin Knight. You know, Who saw that
I
coming?
do love me some Jet.
And the guy is absolutely phenomenal. He got over with Mike Bailey as Jet Speed, and everyone's like, oh wow, this guy's a really good tag team wrestler, which he is. But now he turns around and he wins the tournament because Kyle Fletcher's hurt. Now he's the singles champion. That's totally changing things now, because now you were looking at what are they going to do about the belt, because obviously Kyle Fletcher was the guy they were going to go with for a while, but he got hurt.
Yeah.
And AEW continuously has this really, really strong kind of next man up mentality that you it may not make sense to you in the moment. Like, why are they doing this? But when you stop and think about it, or you see, the aftermath, then you're like, well, duh. Of course they want to give this guy the belt, or of course this guy can do it. And that's across AEW seemingly does that way better than anybody else. And that might be I think is one of the keys to the resurgence, if you want to call it that, of AEW. I mean, it's hard. You can't argue. Their numbers are up. Their live attendance is up. Their viewership is up, and everything else. And they're really on a really high wave right now.
And everything is cyclical too. I mean, it's just it's just a matter of what
the pendulum will swing.
So both shows are in their own lane. Yeah, and like, I mean, corporate, whatever, ownership wise, is it a competition? I don't think so. I think the competition is in the fans, in the fans and everything. You know what?
It's a competition for attention mostly. It's not a competition as far as corporate business, but attention.
Forget about that stuff. I'm talking about just watch wrestling. John, you watch wrestling like every fucking night of the week, don't you?
Sure.
Well, WWE isn't on every night of the week, is it?
No.
Okay.
Thank God.
When you have a chance, you watch everything you can. We understand you're on the road driving, and sometimes you don't have the feeds or whatever. But when you're home, when you're there,
I've had people call me a Neanderthal because I like deathmatch wrestling, and for them I say, go fuck yourself.
But and yet you still love to watch NXT or GCW or and Collision and whatever else is out there,
I
feel the same way. And whatever, just.
Well, I have to say that I did watch a lot of wrestling in the beginning, but ever since I met you guys, and there I go again, John.
Yeah.
Ever since I've met the crew, and different people in the crew have got me into different things, and so therefore I enjoy watching stuff with y'all. It doesn't really matter if I'm into it or not, just because we're watching it together. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
I get that, but everyone has a different perspective, and for me personally, like yes, your perspective could be that you're just gonna watch a show because we're all watching it together and stuff. But for me personally, I don't want to spend 3 hours watching a show that I'm not enjoying. I'm gonna dedicate my time to the shows that I'm really into, that entertain me. And and I went through this even before I met y'all. I went through this, but long before I knew you guys. Is like, if I find myself bored trying to watch a TV show, then after a while, like, me and Seth will just say to each other, hey, you know what? Let's just watch something else tonight. And that's kind of for me personally, my own personal perspective. That's what it is. And we're all going to have different perspectives on that, of different things that we like and what we choose to dedicate our time to. But that's just the way that I choose to go. Is, if I'm dedicating 3 hours of my time to watching a TV show, I want it to be something that's actually making me feel like it's worth watching, not making me feel like I've just spent my entire evening bored, So personally, and everybody has different perspectives on that.
Yeah, I look at it as like I'm Frank Costanza and it's Festivus, and I got a lot of problems with all you people, and you're all going to hear it.
I just keep waiting for the piece of strength.
So Deb, we're not going to go into it, but we know I get picked on with my Death Riders stuff and whatever, but then just look at what happened now. The Wyatt Six are all gone. You know what? I do not blame the talent one bit, and definitely not Bo and all those guys that loved Bray so much, and also also Brody, because he was never forgotten in that story either. But anyway, I blame creative, and I think head should roll somewhere in that team of a couple of wrestlers, a couple of old schoolers that know what the hell they're talking about, like Paul Heyman and whatever, and then some stupid frigging college graduates that are whatever. Go write the new fucking Friends series. Get the fuck out of wrestling. Fuck off. They're the ones that should be gone. That's what happened.
I'm sad for the Wyatts. I'm sad for that group and those wrestlers. I think
there's also there's also a ton of wrestlers though. There's also a ton of wrestlers on there that I was like, who is this person? But I feel bad for them. They got let go, but whatever.
So I think a good chunk of that list was people from LFG that never even made their debut on NXT. And that's going to be expected when you have a show like LFG, which is basically a tryout show. Yep. There are some people that they're going to pick up long term, and some people that, they seemingly just give them 6 months. And then if they feel like they don't have it or they're not progressing the way they'd like to, then they're going to let them go. That's to be expected. I think we were all with the releases that came out yesterday. I think we were all more shocked by the Wyatt Six and Kairi Sane.
Especially Kairi Sane. I mean, Kairi Sane was in every week.
Yeah.
And from my perspective as not a regular viewer, it seemed like, the core fan base was really into the storyline that was happening, just from what I see people talking about. So I just think, and I know I said this to you guys earlier in text, I think these things are now coming from above, from the company, from corporate, and these decisions are being made without consideration or regard for creative plans. I mean, Zoe Stark was released, and then then we see reports that she was scheduled to come back from injury soon, and there was creative plans for her. So I just think this is something from the corporate level that they don't care what creative plans are. They don't care if someone's out on injury. That's what happened to Carl Anderson. He was released while he was out on injury. They just don't seem to care about things like that. They're just looking at numbers on a spreadsheet and making cuts where they deem fit. And that's just it's unfortunate, and that's just the way corporations are. And that's just the way it is.
At least it is. KO, and it's not like AOL taking over WCW. You know what I mean? So at least
it's
we
had a pretty lengthy text conversation about this, and
that's right.
It's shitty, and call me a heel and all that, but at the end of the day, folks, this is business. None of this is personal.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's a business decision. Now, us as fans, we do kind of take it personally because we have investment or some sort of interest in a lot of these characters and people that were let go. And, but still, the whole thing was, my point was, they just brought 6 people up that we're excited to see finally up on the main roster between Monday Night Raw this past Monday and SmackDown last night. You have 6 new faces, possibly more on the roster. Well, they got to get their slot somehow, some way. So, and it's not like we haven't been through this before. We go through this every year post-Mania. They kind of reset the deck and reshuffle everything, and some stay and some go. And that's kind of just the way the business is. but we always get all in an uproar because, oh, how can they let this person? How can they? Well, they just brought 6 people up. That I'm more excited for the 6 people that came up than anybody that was let go. Yes, it sucks,
Right.
but especially nowadays in this business, it's not a death sentence. They're not going to go
no,
forever.
I'm gonna give you 4 names. They all let their contracts run out, whatever, and there was nothing really done with them on each show. You got Royce Keys, formerly Powerhouse Hobbs, and you got Danhausen. Then on the flip side, you have Tommaso Ciampa, and you got who the hell was I gonna say?
Ricochet.
And that
Ricochet,
you could
Tony
say Ricochet,
Storm,
but
Swerve.
no, even newer. Andrade. That's what Andrade. So you got 2 people. You got 2 that like in one company were just like I don't pretend to know the terms, but they would be called mid carders and stuff. Not that I'm in the business and use those terms, but it's just that's what they were. They were never going to be. And then Tommaso comes in and bam, he's a champ. Danhausen goes in. Danhausen was gone. Like Danhausen, even through injury, could have been utilized the way he's been utilized here too, except for the few bumps.
Yeah.
But
and he's really, we've spoken about it before. He's really perfect for WWE. He is an entertainment character.
He is entertaining.
So much
hence the E in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
But he sold so much merchandise and had so many hits and stuff beforehand. It was so popular at conventions and meet and greets.
Yep.
And now, now
he had 2 WrestleMania shirts, 2 separate WrestleMania shirts.
Now it's like, now I can't be nothing but happy for the guy. I'm so happy for all these people out there. Bear let his contract run out in AEW. Okay, we love AEW, but they didn't have nothing for Bear to do. Bear leaves, and what's he doing? He's killing it in GCW. He's killing it in TNA. Mm-hmm. He's killing it on the independents wherever he goes. God bless him and Gabby. It's just a great time for wrestling, no matter what we like or don't like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the talent is good, regardless of what company they work for, we'll see them again.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Somebody
could say. Doesn't Denise say that? Or the talent is good. The talent is good.
Yeah, something like that.
And it was circulating around again what Cardona had tweeted last year when this happened. Is the choices you have when you get that phone call. And you can, like he said, you can choose another career and just move on and do something else. You can do the meet and greet circuit and just be formerly known as blah blah blah.
And Deb,
or you can hit the ground running and work your fucking ass off and really go for it.
Deb, when someone was let go last year, who was the top talent? Who was the top person in WWE that was let go? And who
Shotzi.
Who we just talked? There you go. We're just talking about how she freaking killed it. Because you know why? Because she did what Matt Cardona said to do. And then Matt Cardona on the flip side gets fired from WWE, goes out and comes back to WWE. Now he's freaking it's Nick Nemeth. I mean, we could just keep going down the list of all
Cody.
people that
Cody Rhodes.
Cody, Tony Storm.
Sasha, now and you can find success elsewhere. For some people, some people really like WWE is their dream or whatever. Some people might work hard to strive to be hired back at some point, but some other people might, just decide I'm just going to find my success elsewhere. I'm going to find my success in some other thing. And I think, everybody is going to have a different path and everybody is going to find success in different ways.
Absolutely.
But it's
Kyle and Roderick
it's up to them.
I'm looking right now.
Yeah.
FTR.
Yeah. We could sit here the rest of the night and just talk about examples of who it's worked for and all that. But we do have Collision on now, just starting.
And Pro Wrestling Revolver on YouTube for the first time.
Thank you. Yes. Pro Wrestling Revolver fans, we don't have to worry about Triller no more. everything is starting tonight is going to be on YouTube. So I believe it's Revolver Wrestling on YouTube or Revolver
Something like
WR
that.
on YouTube, and you'll be able to see all their shows. Yes, we are going to wrap up now. Next week, we're finally at that point. You're not going to see all of us because myself and Deb and his boyfriend Seth and Mongrovian, we're all going to be in beautiful South Philadelphia at the corner of Swanson and Retina at that messy, smelly bingo hall known as, well, I don't call it the 2200 Arena. I call it the ECW Arena for GCW presents One Night Stand. We're going to be live in attendance.
One night only.
One night only. Sorry, Freudian slip.
He's having flashbacks over there.
Yeah.
He's having flashbacks.
ECW's first ever appearance at the ECW Arena. And we're all going to be there. They have a really, really good card planned, including a four-way, just announced a four-way for the aforementioned GCW Ultraviolent Championship. And I believe Atticus Kogar will be defending the GCW Championship. I believe all the titles are going to be defended on this show. So we are very much looking forward to that. So next week will probably be a very different look because a lot of us won't be here. But in the meantime, let's wrap this up. Mongrovian, where can the folks get with you on the social medias?
Oh, Mongrovian Mike. There you go. You can find me. I'll also, the night before my first GCW show, which I had to I had to make it in Philly so I could see Bear Bronson bleed and make other people bleed. Gotta do it. Got to do it in the original ECW Arena. It's not 2300. No disrespect to the owners. It's ECW Arena. But anyway, the night before Friday, you're going to be in Melville at All Sports seeing the Creator Pro show. And that's Gabby's going to be taking on Chris Statlander. Nick Nemit's going to be taking on Bear Bronson. MJF is going to have an open challenge, and hopefully it'll be Leo Sparrow getting his ass kicked. But we'll
that'll be awesome. I know they said they're not going to put it on YouTube, but I wish they were.
Yeah.
It'll probably show up
not streamed live, but it'll make it on the Creator Pro Show YouTube channel later.
Okay.
Weeks later.
All right. Tony,
weeks.
In between Justice Roman, where can the folks get up with you?
You all can find me at Tony Justice AJFA on Twitter and Instagram. And if you're a Metallica fan, like I know all of us are, you know what that means. Ooh!
Nice. Deb Allin, take us home.
At That's So Debonair on the Twitter machine, the Instagram, the Blue Sky. I'm not on there a lot, but it's still there. And happy wrestling.
Indeed, happy wrestling. And of course, I am at John of South Jersey on the Twitter and Instagram. And on Instagram is where you can keep up with the exploits of the most dangerous weapon in all professional wrestling. Of course, I am talking about the AK9K, the Ass Kicker 9000. And you can keep up with all of his exploits, currently residing partially in Florida with my buddy Lindsay Snow at AssKicker9K on the Instagram. So that is our show for this week, folks. Thank you all for tuning in and joining us. And we will see you all as soon as my computer cooperates. Hang on, wait for it. We will see you all next week.